Yeah, don't even get me started on that 2020 bullshit. Let's leave that conversation in the past.
Wow, Donald, you used too many big words all at once. I didn't catch the last half of what you said.
No worries, Joe. I already knew you wouldn't, so it's fine. Haha, wow, Joe. This dude just picked you up and swung you around like a sack of potatoes.
All right, guys, not gonna lie, we're making quick work of this game now, guys.
Are you sure we're playing the same game, Joe? We've been on chapter 1 for like an entire week now. I wouldn't say we're making quick work if I were you, because it's more like we're making very slow work if you ask me.
Yeah, Joe, what are you talking about? We haven't even gotten to the first boss fight by the river yet, and the game isn't even on hard difficulty if I remember correctly.
Haha, wow, Joe. This dude just picked you up and swung you around like a sack of potatoes.
Haha, yeah, I honestly wasn't expecting him. I also didn't see him coming, so I can't beat myself up about it too much.
Joe, everyone and their babies know that there's a creepy guy in the bathroom. It's literally in every horror movie. There's no excuse for you not expecting there to be a creepy guy in the bathroom.
Haha, what's up with that huge fish in the briefcase, though, guys? I don't remember getting a fish.
Me neither, Donald. Care to explain, Joe?
Yeah, I got it in the sewers during our last playthrough while you guys weren't paying attention. I always wanted to know how much it would sell for with the merchant.
I doubt it would sell for much. I would just eat it if I were you. It's taking up way too much space. But I bet it would fill your health back up to full if you lose most of your health.
Yeah, Joe, that fish is taking up our space. It better not take up space for any ammo, because otherwise we're getting rid of it.
Nah, Donald, don't worry about it. It's not going to take up any space for any ammo.
Wow, Joe, speak of the devil. I mean, where are you going to put this egg now that there's no space for the egg because of that useless fish? Never mind.
Did you seriously forget that we can combine herbs in this game, Donald?
We wouldn't need to combine herbs if you didn't fill up our briefcase with that useless fish, Joe.
All right, guys, I know this part well. There's a chainsaw guy waiting for us down here, and we can't really outrun him because there's a lot of people further down the road. You'll have to blast his ass with the shotgun to get rid of him.
Way ahead of you, Barack. You're basically just talking to yourself at this point.
Yeah, Barack. How many times do we have to tell you we don't need your guidance anyways?
As many times as it'll take for you guys to shape up and up your game.
Barack, I'm pretty sure that you're the one who died the most during our Resident Evil 4 playthrough so far.
I only died once this whole time, Joe, and that was like 2 playthroughs ago.
Yeah, Barack, exactly. Me and Joe didn't even die once, and you're acting like you're better than us when you're literally worse than us. The numbers speak for themselves.
Wow, guys, really? But I only died that time because I wasn't paying attention. In my defense, I was too busy trying to calculate how much it would cost U.S. taxpayers to build Donald's ridiculously large wall.
Your defense is dumb, Barack. It's dumb like Donald's idea to build a wall, and it's dumb like that conversation we had about the difference between 2020-22 and 2020-23.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, don't even get me started on that 2020 bullshit. Let's leave that conversation in the past. Right now, we have more pressing matters to deal with, like how Barack has stained our perfect playthroughs by giving us a loss.
Yeah, Barack, what do you have to say for yourself?
Honestly, guys, I just don't believe it. I don't believe that we only got taken down once during this entire playthrough. And I also don't believe that I'm the only reason that we have a loss count of more than 0. I'll believe it when I see it.
I'm not much of a religious person, Barack, but when the time calls for it, I'm more than willing to open up a scripture or two. It said somewhere in a religious book that we ought to put our beliefs to the test, Barack. Are you willing to put your beliefs to the test, Barack? Just how much are you willing to put on the table for your belief that you aren't the only person who's gotten taken down since we started this game so far?
Not gonna lie, Donald, I started out feeling very confident, but now I'm thinking that maybe you guys are telling the truth if a guy like you has even started reciting scriptures for my sake. But even so, I refuse to accept that I'm the only person who's gotten taken down so far.
What are you willing to bet that you are, in fact, the only person who's gotten taken down so far, Barack?
Yeah, Barack, all you have to do is accept that you are the one who is the loser here, and we will be done with this. But since you want to believe that you're not, then we have to put a wager on it.
All right, guys, I bet my pride. I bet that I'm not the only person who's lost in this game so far. And if I'm wrong, then you guys can tell me what to do every time I play. And that includes treating me as if I'm some newbie who doesn't know what he's doing. But if I'm right, and it turns out that even one of you guys also lost like I did, then you will both become my sons. And I will be the one who will be telling you guys what to do all the time.
Agreed.
Easiest bet I've ever made in my life. All right, Joe, hand me the controller. I got it from here.
So guys, I've been thinking, have you guys ever wondered why fish can breathe underwater, and if you catch them, they sometimes survive even for a few hours on dry land? But if a person goes into water, they won't even last 2 minutes.
No, Joe, I haven't actually. I kind of just assumed that air breathers have weaker respiratory systems because air is weaker than water.
What the hell does that even mean, Barack? If you mean that air is less dense than water, then that would make sense, but it doesn't make sense to say that air is weaker than water.
No, Donald, what I said makes sense.
Yeah, Donald, what Barack said makes sense. You're the one not making sense right now.
All right, guys, wait. It's time to see if Joe's fish was worth it.
What are you selling?
Wow, Joe, not bad actually, but it's definitely not worth the space it took up in the briefcase. All right, guys, let's agree that from now on, if we find a fish, we eat it immediately to restore health.
Agreed.
Is that all?
All right, guys, we're finally at the church, which means we're finally about to go do our first boss fight. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling a little anxious, but all in all, I'm feeling good. I'm confident we can take him.
Good one, Joe. That's the spirit. What about you, Donald?
I'm feeling the same as always. I'm feeling like a billionaire who's playing an 18-year-old game with his two best friends, who just so happen to be the current president and a former president of the United States of America.
Not gonna lie, Donald, the first half sounded a little sus, but you managed to make it sound not so creepy when you finished the sentence. All right, guys, like my good friend Joe over here, I've also been thinking about something.
Oh yeah? What is it, Barack?
Have you guys ever wondered why sometimes when you're watching a movie and you doze off on the couch, then you feel like you can just stay there for the rest of the night, but then you come to your senses and get to bed, and all of a sudden, you're not sleepy anymore?
Yeah, that happens to me a lot. I sometimes also fall asleep while playing a video game somehow, and then I wake myself up and go to bed, and then I don't feel sleepy when I get there, so I just get up again and continue playing my games.
Wow, Joe, not gonna lie, it sounds like you have a serious gaming problem. Anyways, Barack, to answer your question, I've also experienced this phenomenon countless times, and I think that it's all about how much of a burden you put on your sleep.
What do you mean by burden, Donald?
I mean that if you go to bed a certain time every day, it might start to feel like a chore subconsciously, and chores feel like a burden. Whereas if you sit on the sofa, it feels like a good time, even if you're not doing anything, because you're usually doing fun things on the sofa. So I think that there is something going on in your mind that tells your body not to go to sleep on the bed, because the bed is branded as a bad place that forces a burden of sleep on you that feels like a chore. And then on the flip side, your mind tells your body that it's better to sleep on the couch, because the couch is a good place where fun things tend to happen. Think of it kind of like a type of sleep procrastination.
Not gonna lie, Donald, that's a very well thought out explanation.
Yeah, well, usually when I'm all alone in my very expensive private jet, I get to thinking about a lot of things. This just so happens to be one of those things.
All right, Donald, that's enough. It's my turn now. Haha, the boss is mine.
No problem, Barack. Just remember that you already gave us our one and only loss. Don't become the only person here with the only two losses for our playthrough. Because then I think me and Joe will have to make the executive decision to ban you from playing any more Resident Evil 4 with us, and we'll just make you watch.
And I really hope that we've all been friends for long enough to know that we're not messing around when we say that, Barack. You've been warned.
You guys are crazy. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who's taken a loss so far, guys. And besides, I already lost once and I never catch an L twice. I can 100% guarantee that this boss is as good as Barry.
That's good to hear, Barack. But you will see at the end of this chapter that you are indeed the only loss we have on our stats page. I'm actually looking forward to seeing your reaction when it finally hits you.
Yeah, Barack. I also want to see your reaction when you realize that you f***ed up the moment you made that bet with us. It'll be a real, it was at this moment that he knew that he f***ed up moment.
I'm not going to fall for your gaslighting, guys. I remember vividly that I was not the only person who caught an L during this game's playthrough.
That's your brain making stuff up to compensate for the lack of evidence that you're not the only loser here. It means that you're so full of yourself that you can't handle reality whenever you're doing worse than the average. And so your brain makes stuff up just to make you feel better. It's almost as if you're in a constant feedback loop of cognitive dissonance, self-rationalization, and self-made anecdotal confirmation bias. All just so you can keep your shaky image of being a good video game player in place. It's honestly really very sad.
Wow, Donald, you used too many big words all at once. I didn't catch the last half of what you said.
No worries, Joe. I already knew you wouldn't, so it's fine. Wow, Barack. It looks like you're doomed. You're the only person here who's been in office for both the first and second terms, and it seems as though you plan to mirror that by becoming our biggest loser with our only first and second losses.
Shut up, Trump. Can't you see I'm trying to focus over here? Just continue bothering Joe and let me handle this guy. I got this.
I see the pressure's finally getting to you, Barack.
Nice one, Barack. Good job. I gotta say, I've never seen you so focused on a game before. Does this mean that you believe us now when we tell you that you're the only person who's caught an L so far?
No, Joe, I'll never believe that. I'll have to see the proof with my own eyes before I even consider it a possibility.
In that case, feast your eyes, Barack.
Yeah, Barack, read them and weep. What does the total for that last stat say at the bottom? I don't think I can see it too clearly. My eyes fail me.
Damn it, guys, holy